You look different tonight.
Yeah,
Texas virtual.
so welcome to the 6-9 Hideaway Hills Management Committee meeting. Hopefully I have no streaming issues tonight. So we get started. We have no invited guests. So Randy, you want to walk us through the numbers?
Yeah, capital fund total, and this is as of yesterday. Capital fund total $200,006.223. Depreciation fund total $163,697. Delinquencies are the same as they were last time, so I don't think I need to go through that. One thing I want to point out is special dam assessment account, Popular Bank. We have $101,411. And then, but in the dam repair checking is only $77,000, which is only the next 2 months' payment.
Okay. We'll just keep an eye on it.
Yeah. And so for a total of $179,094.
Yeah. Keep in mind the last 3-ish payments will come out of the reserve at Popular Bank.
Well, we're only bringing in about 16 to 17,000 a month now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Has Penny done an analysis of how much is still owed?
She has. I didn't get that off of her. I meant to get that today to let you know, but we're going to have a problem with it, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we only got 2 months' payment left in the checking account, and we're only bringing in from 16 to 17,000 a month.
Do you know how much we had in delinquency? We lost in delinquency.
Shoot, I didn't bring that. No.
Right. Can you go to Penny and get the amount we've lost in delinquency? And we'll have to figure out why we're short, or if we're trying to be short.
Okay.
So is the delinquency on dam account the same as being delinquent on monthly then? As far as privileges?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that number has been real low for a long time, so.
Well, I mean, between the two, with 177,000, you've got essentially 6 months worth of payments there.
Yes, right.
Between the two.
Right, exactly.
And so if you're generating about 2/3 of a payment a month, in 3 months, that'll be 2 months worth of payments.
Yeah, but can we delve into that 101,000 in order to make the monthly
Same
payment?
question, I expect we probably could. We could ask that question
Yeah.
as we get close.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask. They may hold it to the last couple payments, so until they may hold account.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
But if
Well, no, it's
bankers, never mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
They've been pretty easy to work with though, so once you.
No, it just, you know, you have funds to cover the net. It should cover the net, so, but they want funds plus, so.
Yeah.
I understand.
maybe we should call them, just confirm what our available balance, or balance left to pay is.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I think that'd be good to get all those pieces together, where how much we still have to recover, how much we still owe, and
Right.
Okay, any questions on that? Capital appreciation dam allocation expenses and reserve fund, we talked about those in the second meeting. Randy didn't know we paid like $13,000 at 2019 capital funds.
One other, and I forget what it was.
So we were at 245,869. That'll drop that about another 15,000. All right, news and notes.
Security interviews, we had 4 scheduled today. 2 people showed up. Both of them, one of them's a friend of Cody's. The other one was a retired gentleman. Both of them interviewed fairly well. The one guy just was just a plain no-show. The other guy called, said he had a death in the family. He was going to try to reschedule for tomorrow. Randall has called in the people, 3 other people to schedule for tomorrow, so I'll keep you informed on how that goes.
What is your staffing? How many full and how many parts?
We're short 1.5
Okay.
right now, yeah.
So you have,
One full-time on night shift and then, the part-timer.
How are you handling the loss, just the OT?
Yeah, right now, yeah. We brought Ed back. He came back for one day and said he couldn't handle it,
okay.
so.
Is when's Hunter done? Is he?
Hunter's staying.
Oh, yeah.
Hunter is decided to stay, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, it is and it isn't. I mean, it's good for us. I think his dad wanted him to go to college. And, you know, I told him I was tickled to death he was staying, but, you know, I don't know. That may change, but he said he really likes working here. He likes the people he's working with. He likes the people he's working for.
Small, okay.
The younger guy, yeah. And so, you know, I told him, well, that's great. You do a great job.
No, it's good for us. You're right.
Yeah, that's right. So that's where we are with that.
Okay. When we get back to full strength, are we gonna have lake patrol back out there again?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, we're gonna try to get them out there regardless. Just
It's a big racetrack.
I know. I've heard.
It's a crazy racetrack.
I actually saw a bunch of activity at night, the other night, that just people without running lights, you know.
Yeah.
And the wave runners are just,
Yeah. There's one wave runner I'm trying to get a spot number on.
yeah.
Does he live in your code?
Huh?
Does he live in your code?
No.
Well, he lives in the next one up then, because, yeah.
It's like a purplish,
Okay.
you know.
It's very crazy out there. We have to get lake patrol back to functioning.
Well, there's a lot of kids on tubes, and he was out there being a jerk, and I thought, man, somebody's gonna get run over. And due to his nature and his speed and agility, could never get me close enough to see him either. But just ask everybody to slow down and be mindful, I guess, especially when we got kids on tubes. And
Yeah, Saturday afternoon.
if you wanna go out and play, go out in the morning before everybody gets there. Or,
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All week long, it's fine there during the day.
We had some concern about no wake buoys. One was broken. We had a member that purchased 2 for us. Was he wanted one in his cove or his area there? And then we
I
had
believe
one.
that's the north end of the lake.
Yes, north end of the lake. And
Big coat.
yeah, and and then we had one that was broken. We took the 2 and put there at the north end. So I need one to replace the broken one, which happened to be in front of Tim Krause's place. He wanted it back there. So if that's okay with you folks, it's gonna cost $336.80 for 2 buoys. I'd like to order them and put one of them out there at Tim Krause's where it's been for years, and then we'll have another one for backup.
Yeah.
Where is Tim's? I don't know Tim's. So.
Oh, it's across the lake from you. It's
Yeah.
right in the 640 range.
Yeah.
Okay, so near the Joneses, that arena.
He would be,
641, he's.
yeah,
Yes,
he's right across the street from JJ. Is where
Oh,
it's at.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Jeff Walker's place, remember Jeff was? He's just down there.
Yeah.
So it's the last fast.
Yeah, I mean, if we have one that needs to get replaced, I'm fine with it, personally.
Right, that's what it is.
Then we'll have one spare.
Then we'll have one spare, which we don't have any spares right at the moment.
I mean, sometimes I think personally that, the First Cove, Beach Cove, has got a way too many, because it's almost hard
Yeah.
to get by.
If you sit down there,
Huh?
people just go running right through them before they slow down.
Right.
We put the extra out there.
Yeah.
Try to get them to, number one, stop, slow down before they get to them and not run up and through there and do another part of a loop. People start trying to make that loop wider than what they do, so.
Yeah.
Anybody got a problem with ordering 2?
No.
Good.
Thank you.
No. forgot about virtual rec.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great to chance.
Just chime in, keep me on that.
Can you hear us okay, Rex?
Yes,
Okay, good.
Even me?
yes.
This next issue, Census Bureau has been bugging me about coming in and distributing their packets to the members. We've had several earlier in the season that would call and ask to come in to go to somebody's place, and I said, well, let me call that member to see if it's okay with them. I did, it was okay with the member. But now they're wanting just to send 2 or 3 agents in and go around and hang and drop packets off at every home. And so I told them that, I made them aware of what the situation is. When they tried to come in before, Randall's turned them away and told them if you want to bring a sheriff's deputy in with you, you're welcome to. The sheriff won't do that. So anyway, this is basically just opening the gate and letting them come in. They have identification, of course. I told them I've got 4 calls within the last week. And so I just wanted to see if that was okay with you folks, because I know the members aren't gonna like it.
I think you're required by law to let them in.
That's what I would
The
probably
census
require.
is covered.
I already had one come to my door.
Yeah, I don't think,
Just so you know, I mean,
I don't think we have any ability to stop them from coming in. They're required by law
Well,
to do a 10-year.
Yeah.
So I don't think we want to die on that sword.
okay, nope,
I mean,
no
no,
problem. Okay, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah,
everybody was
Rex.
okay with that.
Rex or Steve, you got any objections?
Now follow the law, first off.
Yeah.
And
That
if they come up and identify who they are.
yeah, the woman that came to stayed in her car,
Yep.
and I walked out
She had
because
something on her car.
I was surprised, and she had some sticker that I didn't recognize,
Mhm.
and she told me who she was, and I said, fine, but we've already done it.
Yeah, I had the same thing. They came to our house, I see them outside.
Well, they're asking. Yeah, so they haven't really pushed it. And so,
But if they identify themselves
Yeah.
and they're here for a legal purpose,
okay,
no
problem.
JJ, you have any issues?
No, I mean, I think we have to do it. We have to allow it, put it that way.
I told them I'd get back with them tomorrow. I will do that.
Yeah, as long as they identify themselves and who they are.
I guess there was an issue with I think it was the Boar Hill gate, when we had the power outage, that the power company was back there working on it. And typically our policy has been to leave the gate closed. The only time we open it, if there's a power outage or a problem, is in the wintertime to allow maintenance to get that covered. We leave it open to allow maintenance to get that covered. Are you wanting to change that, or is that okay?
I don't have any reason to keep the gates open during a power outage.
Okay,
You just have to know you're back there. I don't think during a power outage, I want to make this a free-for-all to get in.
right.
No,
And that's, our policies we established a couple years ago, as Randy said, is when it would snow, especially at Boar Hill, they would open it because it would get icy, but we would be open it now until maintenance could get back there,
Right.
treat it with salt
Right.
and cinders,
Yeah.
and then we go ahead and close it,
Right.
because we were having a lot more thefts and, things just coming up missing. And so we kind of put a stance and said, no, we're not doing that. So you're,
I just wanted to verify.
well, I want to hear everybody's opinion.
I think we should just keep the policy as you stated, Jim. I mean, we'll make it free for all. People know there's a power outage, those gates probably will not open.
Correct.
the other thing I would 100% agree, and I really wish that maintenance time is very short. And the last would be that they put it on our Facebook page when power does go out and affects the gates.
Okay, yeah.
Security.
Security can't do that.
Huh?
Security can't do
They
that.
can't post to the
Yeah,
highway.
we can do the e-blast, but they can't do the Facebook page.
What?
They don't have access to it.
Can we give it to them?
Well, possibly. I'll check with Penny on that. but-
I mean, the whole idea of that that page was to put our e-blast out there, but also emergency stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I personally think that's the most
Well, I
appropriate.
don't know who the administrator is, but you certainly.
Penny.
Sure, you'd have to share the password.
Yeah.
Steve, you have any problem with keeping the gates closed?
I think the security of our community is one of our perks, and we need to keep it that way.
I'll just come through your driveway.
I mean, that's fine. But on the other side of that is, I guess, we should, this issue of brought up of who can do what and things like this. I think we need to look, I know we had an issue on the weekend with a tree and a residence that was actually, trapped. I know we're gonna talk about some of that stuff, but, we do need to look at a weekend policy, and if it, it starts off with the president, yourself, if Randy's on, especially in a whole week when Randy's on vacation, that puts a cluster in here someplace. And I think we need to get a hierarchy of control for handling some of these, and if you need to put e-blast out, then, whether we let Randall do it, Randall's not there all the time either.
Well, they all know how to do it. Security all knows how to do it on the e-blast. But they don't have the Facebook.
Because, I've only come into Boar Hill Gate once, but that's a pretty good jaunt to get to that point to find out, oh crap, the power's off, I can't get in, turn around and have to use one of the other two gates. I get it.
Or trees
Take
down.
me off too.
Yeah.
Or
Rex,
trees down.
Rex, you have any issues with keeping the gates closed?
Gate doesn't do any good if it's open.
No, it's just a decoration at that point.
Yep.
All right, Randy, chip and seal bids progress and Hideaway Hills road plan for the year.
You want to do that, or you want to do the tree cutting issue first?
Let's do tree cutting issue first, and then we can back up to, let's get that tree cutting issue.
Yeah, that was the next one on the list here. Okay, we had a tree down on Cato Court. It took lines down, which included power lines, cable lines, and fiber optic telephone.
I didn't think it took down electric lines.
It did. It did.
South Central got those back routes.
South Central came out. They were able to pull the lines out from underneath the tree and reestablish them, so they didn't have to do any cutting. Typically, they'll cut the stuff out of the way.
The power was out for about 8 hours.
Was it
Yeah.
out that long?
I didn't know I knew there was a phone line and
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah. The power company told security to not touch the fiber optic cable, and so they didn't. And then when the telephone company finally made it in, 3 or 4 days later,
Tuesday or Wednesday.
yeah, they wanted to know who cut the tree. And of course, at that point, security didn't know because they didn't. And so they told them they didn't know who cut it. And they said, well, if this ever happens again and you damage our lines, Hideaway Hills will be held responsible. So,
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, to them guys, is you can't leave people stranded there with no
Yeah.
emergency access for 5 days.
right,
Waiting on you to get out there.
What was the fiber optics? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding what it does.
Oh, it's just
Phone
service. It's just it's a phone service.
Yeah, it's phone.
Is it Frontier?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
Bring it on.
yeah.
Well, was it a Spectrum?
When they
or
improved their
Frontier?
service.
Frontier.
Yeah,
Is
Frontier.
that cable over there or is it just phone?
Just phone.
I agree.
Big threat there.
Yeah.
But anyway, the
I
point
get,
of my,
I get security not calling and cutting it. I 100% agree they don't need to make that call. My point of the whole issue was nobody escalated that up to either call Rick and have him assess the situation or call me and said, hey, we got people trapped, what do we do?
well, they weren't actually trapped, they could get in and out. And the one lady that was back there,
How'd they get in and
she
out?
had a truck on the outside, a vehicle on the outside, and the other guy that was back there could get in and out, not his vehicle though.
Yeah, they could, but what we would do if we needed an ambulance back there or a fire truck.
Well, they could have walked back through there. I mean, it wasn't that far back in there.
I get that, but if you got an ambulance and needs to get back or a fire truck, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess we just need it, the thing needs to be escalated and decide if we can make some more phone calls to the, phone company and say, you gotta get out here and get this tree, just out of these trees, so we get this tree out of the way. That we can't leave people's houses trapped. That would have happened, if there's a number of courts like this, and Rick admitted that this hasn't happened in years.
Yeah.
But there's a number of courts where if this got thing, and people are just stuck.
Sure.
I mean.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about it is, I mean, you can call them, they call the telephone company.
I know, but
it took them forever to get out here.
you can call and you can escalate too.
Yeah.
I just would have liked to had that escalated either to myself, with you being gone,
Well, they could have got a hold
or
of you too.
Jim, or you,
Yeah.
to say, okay, let's escalate this situation to try to get some relief.
Yeah.
I'm just worried if we would have had a fire or something up there, we would have been
But
screwed.
even at that point, and again, there was probably not that thought by the person who cut it, and I think it was a resident from what I
Yeah.
saw or something.
I don't even know.
You know, if you can verify there at the side of the road and we need to cut us 2 sections out of the center of it, yeah, I don't know that we're gonna have an issue with it here.
Well, the other thing about that is that the member didn't know that they shouldn't have been cut.
Well, that's a point we need to show, right?
Yeah, right, so,
So a member cut the tree?
yes,
Has the member been educated?
no. I don't know who it is. Does anybody know who it was? I don't know who it was.
You can look on Facebook.
Oh, there's the name on Facebook.
I don't blame you. I mean, if I was trapped, I would do what I had to do to get home.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of members cutting them when we had that big
Right. Oh, I know.
storm a couple of years ago.
I mean, I would argue that Frontier, which, number one, I think we need to file a PUCO claim on them for taking 5 days to come out and get their line off the ground.
No, I'll do that.
And number two, why does it take you 5 days to come out and move the line?
Right.
It's not acceptable.
And threaten us that this is some problem that we've had.
Yeah. Oh, I've called PUCO on before.
I would call them again, but I think we need to file a formal complaint again.
Yeah, I've got that done, I will.
And I would
And
think
probably
maybe
in the complaint say, it won't stop us from cutting it next time.
Right.
I mean, being upfront with them.
for the purpose behind this, it probably wouldn't hurt to put an e-blast out about if and when we have storms that, you know, be cautious around there, let maintenance get in and do their duties. And, you know, then again, like I say, the absence of Rick not knowing about it for a period of time too, it was hard for him to react to it when he wasn't aware of it in the first place. And I think we've got that one covered.
We had one down across the beach road here a while back that was eye level. And it was there for 2 or 3 days.
But that wouldn't trap anybody, because you can always go the other way around. This had people
Well,
trapped.
no, it wouldn't trap anybody, but
It'd make it
anybody
very hard to get
would have
in.
ran into it.
Yeah, that would make it very hard to get,
Yeah.
But just remind people
Fire
that,
trucks.
you know, we have storms coming tomorrow, so that might be a timely time to do it.
Yeah.
If trees come down, you know, call somebody. If you're not in life peril, don't put yourself there,
Right.
you know, trying to cut up a tree. It's just not worth it.
I 100% agree that security should not cut the tree down, or touch the tree with a line.
Yeah.
Get that. I think we should have called Rick, had him assess it. He could have made his decision. He's done this for 30 years. But it should have got escalated to Jim or I, or you, to try to call the phone company again and say, we got people stuck.
Right.
You can continue to escalate with them people till you
Right.
make a couple
I mean, we
friends.
were both here all weekend. So I didn't hear about this. Somebody said to me there was an issue that
Right.
they put on Facebook.
I think it's need to
I went
remind,
down on Sunday, and then it was open on Sunday.
we just need to remind security that if that situation happens again, don't be afraid to pick up the phone,
Right.
escalate the situation, try to get.
So do they have a set call list if they cannot get a hold of him? Is there a
Yeah.
number 2 maintenance guy?
Yeah, yeah, they go to Elmer or Jeff or Kelly or any of them, yeah.
And Jim and I.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Or anybody on this committee.
Absolutely. Anybody on this committee can step in and do this before gone.
I mean, going down the list.
Absolutely. You're right, Ian. Absolutely.
We're just, you know, the next storm away from having this happen again. It's part of that emergency response and protecting the community, and God forbid we ever get a serious storm here. You know, what are we gonna do, because we don't have the resources to handle it either.
But we've had a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple, yeah.
Tornado? Or just?
Straight line winds.
Straight line.
I lived through the straight line.
Come on, Steve, you know better.
I was here.
You lost trucks and everything else. haven't you?
Come on, let the trees drop beside us. I remember the straight line.
Agree with that. Any other discussion, Rex, you got anything about safety policy here?
Going the right way.
Okay, let us know when we file that PUC claim, if we get a response out of them. So, Bunko bathings, knows they're going out.
Yeah.
Chip and seal, good progress in the HAH road plan, draft of the road plan. So, you talk about bids, Rex did send out a kind of a draft of a very detailed road plan to start. So we have somewhat of a, multi-year plan of how we're gonna spend our, road funds for the next several years. Number of discussion items in there, but, Randy, you wanna talk about bids? Chip and seal bids?
Yeah. I've contacted 3 companies. 2 of them have been out. One of them have given a bid, and that was 2020 Enterprise out of Somerset. They went around with Rick last Wednesday when I wasn't here. I had set that up, and they got back with me today with a bid on a per mile at 18-foot amount, which was $17,460 some odd dollars
Per mile.
per mile. That was at 18 foot.
17 what?
$17,460 some dollars per mile. That was at an 18-foot width. Now we have variable widths. They weren't intimidated at all by our terrain or the way our roads were now. As a matter of fact, he said it looked like we have done a pretty good job. He did let me know that the moto paved area would be a little bit more because it was wider. And so he gave me a bid on that, which I can't remember right off the top of my head right now. The guy from Rose, from I think from Circleville, Asheville, called him 3 times. He was out. Nice guy. Little apprehensive about the terrain, and I haven't heard back from him. I called him 3 times since he was out. The other company, which I don't even remember who it was right now. I never heard anything back from him. Rex has a company by the name of Strouser, I believe. Rex, is that who it is?
Yeah.
Is coming out at some point and to talk about it to us as well. So that's kind of where we are right now. As far as 2020, they have an opening as of January 7th, July 7th, and then sometime in September is the first time they would be available to come out. Rick really liked that guy. His name's Art Kumpler. And like I say, they weren't intimidated by our roads and our terrain whatsoever. Because they were
That's a pretty good price. I mean, I'd like to see, if you can you email me their quote, or did they give you a written quote?
I can get a written quote. He did give me a lot of details, which I don't have them right here in front of me. As far as gallons, price per gallon, and price per ton of stone for that mile. And he did give me quite a bit of information that I will send that to you.
Yeah.
What's our total miles for
30, roughly.
Probably, at one point it was around 37. If you take out the 2.3 or something like that that we've got moto paved, that knocks it down a little bit. If you take out the cul-de-sacs and the mile lane road back to the reserve, that'll knock it down a little bit more. But yeah, somewhere between 30 and 37.
Thank you.
30.
Rex, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of the road plan you put together so we can start having some discussion around that?
Yes. So I just thought that, as we go into this, we kind of need a plan to show membership what we're doing, and I think as we look at this, we need to make sure that we've got a large investment in the motopave, and we need to protect that investment with some preservation work. And if you've got a plan and you give that to the membership, then when somebody says, well, why are you putting money onto a brand new road and not fixing my old road, you can help them understand that it's a lot cheaper to keep a good road in good condition than it is to let it go to hell and then put it back to good condition. So, and I thought that if we came up with a way to show membership what we consider a good, a fair, and a poor road is, and what road, where we would try and get our roadways into over a 5-year period with using their money, how we would make our roads better overall. I don't want to go through the whole plan unless you want me to, but
No, just talk about the highlights and what the benefits of doing, kind of following a different plan.
Yeah, so if you kind of rate, and I've kind of been driving most of the roads lately, and I haven't got them all taken care of, but it's pretty easy to rate them with this system. And then we've got different types of roads, and so if you look at the road types, you know, your main through road, which is what we've been motopaving on the east side, what I'm calling it, and you know, I think we probably need to try to do something similar on the west side, but there's different problems over there with the terrain, and so I don't know. I'm not even sure a lot of that could be motopaved with the curves and the hills and such. But we can get, at least to me, one pass through there in pretty good shape, and then the collectors need to be maybe not as good as the through road, but they need to be pretty good shape because they take quite a bit of traffic. And then as we get less traffic, less need, less speed, we kind of go down into what is acceptable as good, fair, and poor on those roads. Just so people could know, I went through a group of tools that we need to use, and most of these can be self-performed by maintenance if we have the people, we have the equipment. I mean, we can rent the equipment, but if we have the people mostly and have the schedule, have the time, and we have the skill, we can do a lot of this ourselves. I'm a big proponent in sweeping, and I think we can do. I think we can make a lot of people happy just getting out there and getting the loose off the roads once or twice a year, getting the edges back so a 16-foot road doesn't look like a 13-foot road. I have a feeling we're going to find a lot of pavement out there we don't know we have. Using chip seal to do short patching, pothole patching, filling, things like that maintenance can do. And if we take our road conditions, we take our goal conditions that we want it to get to, and then we fit these processes into that, using our money wisely, I think we can show membership we're using their money well. If you look at the condition goals, we need a goal to get to, and these are just a first draft, and we want to walk through these as a group. But you know, to me, what the motopave looks like right now is what it needs to continue to look like or better, as long as we can do that. Some of the other roads, if we strive to be 75% good, 25% fair, and 0% poor on collectors, I think that's a good goal. I don't yet know where we are, and once I get that determined, if the committee wants me to do that, I'd be happy to. It won't take that long. You know, we can do that. So what this does is it gives us a plan every year, and actually it can give you a 3 to 4 year plan of what you need to do, so you know where to save money in 1 year, because the next year you're going to have some larger expenditures. I threw in there an idea for an increase in funding, which any idea for increasing funding is not going to be popular. But to me, the best way to pay for roads is with a user fee. And the more vehicles you own that travel on our roads, the more you should pay, is the way I look at it.
Yeah, we'd have to look and see if that's available, it's doable in our code.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we'd have to, obviously, we'd have to get a code change and vote on it. We've kept the same road assessment for
2011?
That's 2011, so, I mean, it's definitely not kept pace, which has definitely hurt us. And you do know, we have a sweeper that's on the front of one of our big tractors, right? We bought that.
I did not, that's good.
Road broom, yeah, we bought it's a road broom. We bought it a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. It goes on the LS tractor, which is one of our newer tractors. We do use it in the roads, we use it to clean off the goose poop off the dam access, the access road to the docks in the parking lot.
Rex, I got a question for you. So the loose stone, you kind of made a point of bringing that up. So does that add to the deterioration of the road by having vehicles going over that and that moving and shaking?
It can, yes, it acts just like sandpaper.
So the sweeping part could be a real asset for us, and especially since we have a piece of equipment to do it.
Yes.
Where would you get one? I mean, would you have to try to rent a pickup sweeper?
Yeah, they'll come out for, I don't know, probably a couple $100 an hour, plus travel time, and but that's just if, you know, there are places where you may not want to sweep, or, you know, sweep it off on it into the edge, but if you tried to pick it up with a crew and a tractor, you would spend what you would spend hiring a broom out of Columbus.
Yeah, we've tried renting a regular road sweeper, and I think one time we got one, it was okay.
Well, the first one we bought was too small, didn't have a cab, and so, the driver got dusted pretty bad. And it wouldn't make it up the hills, so we traded that in on one with a cab and one with more horsepower, and it worked pretty well. We decided for the money we were spending on that, we ought to buy our own, which we did, and it works out pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bore through a brush or two already.
Yeah.
We don't have to
Brushers wear out pretty quick.
Good. Okay.
Okay.
One point is on road condition, is there an issue where, let's say we spec out our roads to be 15 feet across and they are only 12. Should we be rating our roads for where they're too narrow?
I think that's up to us to decide. I don't think, I mean, obviously, what I'm calling the remote roads where you're going back probably to a cul-de-sac to only one or two homes, it needs to be safe, so it's not just one way, but if one person has to slow down when traffic meets, that we just have to make that determination, what money we want to spend on 5 cars a day.
My question more is on, if you mean collectors as being roads that are like Taos or Yana or that go around the lake on those roads.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if, while we're going out and rating our roads, is also rate our underperforming roads, meaning they're too narrow. There are roads on the west side that, in my opinion, should be one-way streets.
Yeah, the one at Zuni, between both entrances of Zuni, that's the worst one right there.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could get 2 cars through there, and the other thing is, I don't know how you could widen that road.
All points of good interest, but for instance, we would have probably our best bang for the buck of making sure the edges aren't being deteriorated,
Right.
giving it a priority,
Right.
so it doesn't get any narrower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good points, appreciate it, Rex. And
So, what would be your 2020 recommendation? I know we're still kind of getting chip and seal bids, but what's your 2020 recommendation as far as a starting point?
Well, I mean, I put in here that from everything I've driven, I don't see that if we decided to, and I didn't know we were gonna get it. I think this is a pretty good contracted out price, and I was just hearing the trouble we were having with maintenance getting things done, and I thought, you know, if we have to take them away for a week or two to seal coat, and then they get behind on other important things, maybe it's best not to seal coat this year and move that money to next year, have some more money to spend with a contractor and lower our bid. Basically, the more money you got, usually it's going to cost you less per unit.
Right.
And I want everybody to know I'm not against us self-performing the seal coat. I'm just saying if you don't have enough people and you don't have enough people and it puts you behind on other work, are you really saving money? Those are things we need to think about.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We definitely have a limited resource, which is our maintenance crew, as we cut them down in this budget process. Are you saying that the rate we got from 2020 Enterprise is pretty fair?
Yes,
So
I think so.
do you think you would think you'd want to do some chip seal at that price, or?
I'd want to see what the team wanted to do, but it's always good to seal coat. Okay, so don't get me wrong there, but I've also not seen many areas that if we didn't seal coat this year are going to blow up over the winter in a normal winter.
Rex, is seal coat the same as chip and seal?
Chip seal, yes,
Okay,
I apologize.
Okay, no problem, I just wanted to.
Different areas of the country call it different things, and I get hung up. So yes,
No
chip seal.
problem.
Yeah. My only concern would be on the west side of the lake. I don't drive all that over there because I'm not welcome, Dan. But I would go around there, I think it was going to Dan's. I noticed a lot of the roads over there are pretty broke up.
Yes.
I don't know if there's not, we've come to a conclusion doing some miles of road and maybe carrying some over and doing some of these other things that we talked about that you've got on your list.
There's no restriction for carrying money forward. We're not required.
Not required.
We're not required to spend that money.
Well, we would have to find out
We can
from
carry
this,
forward if we wish to do a bigger project.
from like this 2020 Enterprise, like what would be their minimum to want to come out? I mean, they're gonna come out and do 3 miles, and
Their minimum would be 3 miles.
the minimum's 3
Yeah,
miles.
yeah.
So we'd have to do a minimum 3 miles.
Right.
Now, does it have to be 3 continuous miles, or will they move
Did
around?
say.
They try to do a mile here, a mile there, a mile there. As long as we're not having, doing 120 feet, 20 feet in front of Dan's.
One of Dan's guys.
I'm pleased with my route.
So, okay. What else in your 2020, would we spend money on?
I'd say get any holes filled, any, if we see any short sections that are really alligatored and which means you're getting lots of small blocks. It cracks up so much you get small blocks of pavement surrounded by cracks. That's the stuff that's possibly going to blow out over a winter. So you can fix those with some hot mix or some cold mix over the top. Get things cleaned up, see where we are, and then go. But again, with a number like this we've got, I don't have a problem doing some seal coat with a contractor. I did kind of work up what I think it could cost Hideaway Hills to do the same amount of work, and I had to make a lot of guesses, and I'd like to work with Randy to narrow down my numbers, but I was thinking that the cost for us to self-perform the chip seal would be somewhere in the range of $1.04, $1.05 per square yard. These guys come up with $1.65, but you need to remember I was not putting anything in really I don't know what it costs to repair the equipment to get ready to go do the chip seal. And so if we have to put $10,000 into the chippers, the distributors, and this and that to get ready to go, well, then we just used up all that difference that we would save doing it ourselves.
Well, our dump trucks are in good shape. They're relatively new. It's the distributor truck that, we struggle with, most of the time. Yeah, most of the
Our
time.
1968.
It's older than me.
Yeah.
Reminded you that.
Well, the distributor part is, we pulled it off of an old truck and put it on one of our newer ones, which is still probably.
It is historical license plate. Though.
Yeah, yeah. Rex, I have a question on, you talking about the, alligatoring, and the blocks coming out. One thing we used to do is we used to fill them with sand. Whether or not, it was questionable of whether or not that did any good or not. But you're talking about, hot patching over top of them. Would it be better to dig them out and hot patch than just hot patching over top?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Better.
all right, okay.
Just we have a grader blade on that LS tractor that we bought. Would you take a grader blade, just grade it out, or just take a backhoe and just basically scoop it out?
I tried the blade first,
Yeah, it's not like a landscape blade, it's like an actual heavy-duty grader blade that they use.
I'd like to get out and see what they get into sometime, because I'm not sure what's down under there. And I know there's not much, but I gotta tell you that we don't have a cracking problem. We don't really have a pothole problem. So we've got some decent base down there, just because it's not blowing out. So sometimes if you can keep from digging it up, you're better off, because you may not put back as good as what you got.
Rex, we only encourage you to spend all the time that you can on this project.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
And-
we will be very grateful for all of your efforts.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
expertise.
And it'd be great to get you and Rick together for 2 or 3 hours. Because Rick knows these roads and knows where the bad spots are. I remember here several years ago that we'd have clay coming right up through the middle of the road, simply because there was no base there. Back then, we started digging that out, filling it up with 411s, and then chip sealing over top, which helped tremendously, but it was not a complete fix-all. Now, just in the last couple of years, we got away from using the berm to patch and started using hot mix, which has helped also. It's just everything is more money as you progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm probably guessing even if we go with this 2020, we're not ready by July 7th to do any chip seal. So if he calls or we talk to him, tell him if we decide to do any chip seal, it would probably be the September timeframe.
Yeah.
That gives you a chance to kind of really make a better assessment and give us a better recommendation.
Well, I'll get Rex the information that he gave me. He said that, they have that open right now. It may not stay open. So the quicker we can move on this.
Yeah, I don't want to drag this out, but I want to give Rex and Rick a chance to kind of check some things out.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
understood.
Talk through this plan.
Understood.
Excellent work.
Any other questions on the road policy? Thanks for your work, Rick.
Yeah.
You're welcome, and we'll talk more about those, if we want to move forward, not just with the ratings, and so we can communicate it to membership what we expect the roads to look like and be like, so they understand where we're spending their money. And like I said, it cost about $6 million to replace just the pavement out there, and so we need to take as good a care of it as we can.
If somebody would just write us a check.
Yeah.
Rex, this is Jim Krieger, and with looking for the assessment and everything else, everything you can do to give us more information will be extremely helpful. And go for it.
Keep going.
Thank you, sir.
Are you still planning on bringing Strouser in and take a look?
Yes, actually I talked to him on the phone today. We're looking at, and I'll copy you, I gotta send him a calendar invite, but we're looking at 10 o'clock on Wednesday, if that works.
Not tomorrow.
No, I'm sorry. excuse me, week from tomorrow, apologize, yeah.
Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah.
I'll have to check my schedule. That sounds like it might work though.
Okay, great.
Super. Any other discussion on roads?
Good. That's very helpful.
Food truck policy, so just kind of an update, the board did approve a policy. We did discuss this last time. I apologize, Dan, I thought we had came to more of a conclusion, but the board did pass a policy via EPO. It's pretty basic as far as policies go. We do ask that the food truck provide a release of waiver, state health license that we provide, a state health license, a food service license, and their last inspection. So far, I think this is really going to be targeted. The Monday night leads wanting food service at the clubhouse. They had a truck last night. I believe they sold it out. They will not have one next week. We're going to try to work with the clubhouse and see if they can provide some type of food service that they don't have to cook, like a lasagna, pre-made lasagna, or hot chili dogs or something. They are having a, we only that way because we're only going to have one person in there, so we don't want to have, can't have one person serving drinks and cooking and, you know, running. It's, we only have one person. The week after that, I think they're trying to get Pizza Cottage in. So it's going to be kind of just filtering in for that group, and other people can go up and take advantage of it. I don't know how many we're going to have. If we can get to a point where we do open the lodge bar, then it would help us with that. You know, try to have some food there to help push drinks. So, and you know, obviously once the lodge opens back up, this will be a no-go. This will all just go away. So, I'll get the clubhouse back.
That was absolutely part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was,
and we can get the clubhouse back.
Was that put into the vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't see it.
Of course, yeah. No, the conversation was, this was only for the transition, only for the intermittent form.
And if we get back to where we're fully staffed at the clubhouse, then we won't allow it at the golf course either. It would just have to be like Sundays down front or up here if we have to support our lodge. It has to have some support. I mean, right now this is a member service to the Monday night golfers who want some food, and some other members who want food on Mondays, where we're basically only open for drinks.
Yeah, no, that was part and parcel of it, Dan. This was only an interim, and to be able to get us through to when we open up the lodge. All would be at that point. It goes away.
Here's some perspective I have, is that we increased the hours so we could cover it and have hot dogs and everything, and then I understand the food truck came in. So the way I looked at it was, now it's competing financially with the clubhouse. If we weren't offering any food service, I don't have as much of an objection.
Yeah.
So if we're taking money away from the club, I have a big objection.
Oh, of course.
So I agree. And I don't even know if Jeannie offered, when she opened Monday night, if she even offered hot dogs. I mean, that was just an option if we didn't have a food truck. Next week, they're going to try to offer something because there won't be a food truck to offer some food service. But
yeah, I don't think there's any incentive to compete. I think it's just I mean, at least that's my evaluation of what the proposal is.
Just the proposal that I saw in the email, I haven't even seen the final document, but
I can see.
it's okay.
It's real simple. It just really is trying to move for us as an organization that we're bringing these people in. That it was completely a transitional thing, and that was one of the big points, is that we did not want them to be able, at the times when the clubhouse was open and even before one, and certainly going forward if the lodge is open. And there were several of us who said, we don't want people to think that this is going to be a substitute for reopening the lodge, because that's a complete non-starter. So the whole point was this was just to provide some services in the short term where we don't have as much here as we have. And I believe that, and that's, you know, that was the conversation.
The document I did see that was proposed to the management committee didn't have any of that.
Well,
So-
it's, the proposal's really bare bones.
It doesn't spell
It doesn't spell anything out that it's only for the lodge support and the clubhouse support. It just didn't. So
Yeah.
reading a document that bare bones and saying that it was already approved caught me off guard. And
Good point.
when we had the discussion here, that's why I was asking the question, what was the board asking? Never mind. I'm getting into
The contract was for that vendor between them and us to protect us. I think the rest of it was discussion points, and I would say probably in their minutes about it's not a substitute for the lodge and it's a temporary
No,
fix.
absolutely.
But it wouldn't really be part of that as we're
If you
passing
didn't
that.
listen to the board meeting, and which I didn't,
Exactly.
I don't know all of that.
I know.
It ended up getting voted on via e-vote,
Yeah.
because they weren't ready at that point.
Right.
There was some detailed questions from some board members about that same thing. Tell us how we're not gonna compete, tell us how we're gonna, use this to our advantage. And once Eric had brought that back, and he asked for an e-vote, and they did approve it at that point.
Well, I think once we get a good scheduling process in place, it can be made so it's not going to compete with an event or something at the clubhouse. So it's just going to have a little bit of management or backbone to it. But I think it's proven that the people here now have a choice without having to go to town. I think they've been receptive to the idea, and it's kind of one of these services. Yeah, we're not profiting from it in any way, shape, or form, but we're also don't have cost associated with it.
Exactly. I mean, we absolutely would not allow it on Saturday. I mean, Saturday, we did over $1,000 worth of business, and we wouldn't just, I would veto that and say, no, we're not going to compete against our own self here, but.
Absolutely. And I think the board would support that completely.
With holiday weekends, the biggest problem with Clubhouse is it's limited to what it can do to conserve. So holiday weekends, like it did on Memorial Day, a food truck is a good fill in there without sacrificing. Because the people on the lake have a place to go, and the guys on the golf course have a place to go too. And so I don't think that
It didn't really hurt us.
It didn't hurt us either way.
That day, Memorial Day.
Is anybody looking at scheduling food trucks for the lodge to have a partial opening yet, or food services, or?
Home services hasn't really kicked back up yet, which I have to do when I get time. Eric Lapp was working on trying to schedule some food trucks, and I know, like, Karen McNabb was emailing me today about the Monday Night Golf League had, I think, made some contact, so it's a little haphazard right now.
Okay, so we are gonna, at least soft opening of the lodge that way with a food truck.
Yeah, that would be my preference.
Okay.
Baby steps. Things back to normal as quick as you can without rehashing past mistakes or past issues.
That's the assessment increase.
It's a good.
Rex, do you have any comments on food trucks, or?
No, I think it's a good fit right now, and as long as it doesn't take money from us, and it looks like we got a plan, so
Yeah.
it's good.
Anybody else? Alright, let's move on,
There's one more thing on that. So I think there was some discussion on this, Jim. So it was kicked around about charging a food vendor for coming in here. How did that discussion go, and what was the feeling of trustees on that?
Basically.
And if you don't know, just say I don't remember. That's fine.
No, I do
It was a long
remember.
meeting.
I know it took me like 3 nights to watch the little.
Yeah, no conclusion was really reached. If there was an opportunity to make money off of it, depending upon how successful it is, we will investigate that. In the short run,
Back to Dan's point, we should. do
yeah,
something to make
I
ourselves
think if this becomes a going concern over the next couple of months, I think we could. It's not in the current agreements, but I don't think there'd be a whole lot of problem with people.
Like I saw a
something up.
8-year-old lady come here and sell out.
Yeah.
She came back, raised her prices, and sold out again. So,
Good point.
You know,
Really
really,
nice.
so-
Raising our prices.
so we should profit from that too.
Yeah,
I'm with
no,
you,
that's a
Dan,
good
I'm with you.
That's a good point.
But, if they go to a county fair and set up,
Cost them money.
that county fair is charging them for that spot.
I think that's a really good point. And probably the food.
I think it might be
services
something we want to
should
raise
make
the
a
flag
recommendation
against,
to us
because
about that.
our community will support it. And I think for that privilege of giving them this membership, to stand there in line and wait for their food. We should kick something back to Dan's point, so we're not just,
Yeah, I think it's, whatever that amount is, I'm fine with that, no problem.
it's worth asking again and talking about. We should be seeing something.
Yeah, I think it was,
Knowing it's gonna be
it was an issue that was sort of kicked down the road because we were just trying to come up with something at that point to see how it would work. But your point is well taken. If it's going that successfully, then.
What would be a fair fee? $1,500, I don't know.
You know, I don't know what
percentage of sales. You know, whatchamacallit told us, Greg Potassium weighed in on that, and he knew companies like food trucks, they'll lie like you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you'll never know.
No, you
in the
said,
cash business, yeah.
AJ, you said your son's brewery business, they don't charge,
They feed the employees.
they just feed the employees, but,
So, I mean, it's, what do you think, 200, maybe interesting thing to test. Okay, let's do $500.
What does it cost at the county fair?
yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm not a fair aficionado.
I'm saying a source of finding.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I don't think it's a huge revenue source.
I agree.
All I'm challenging is, you know, that we're looking at the financial side of it too. And we're protecting ourselves from a liability issue, which is smart. And,
I'm fine with this as an interim. My focus is getting the assessment increase passed and opening up the dam.
Yep.
And the rest of this is the steps to get to there. In my mind.
Okay, any other discussion?
No, thank you for your.
No, sir.
Brewery, I like beer.
I do too.
JJ, this was
Yeah.
yours.
I'd like to be able to sit down with the current brewer, and pick his brain a little bit. I mean, breweries are doing well, and I don't think ours is performing as well as it could. Now, I don't have all the answers because I haven't been able to talk to this gentleman. I have no reason not to trust the guy or not to believe in what he's saying, but I'd like to have the opportunity to sit down and speak with him. See what his plans are for the future. To even hear, okay, what are the pros and cons? I mean, the way that our system's set up now, it just seems really, really big for what we're using it for. And there's other ways around that. So I'd just like to sit down and pick his brain and just hear what he has to say, if nobody has a problem with that. If anybody else wants to be involved with it, I'm fine with that too. And if Randy can set something up, I can do that. I mean, I don't want to, I don't know this guy from Adam. Yeah, I'd like to at least talk
He's a member and you can,
and get to know him.
and you can, and have that discussion. I certainly experience that pleasure and you're welcome to do the same. Because you have a knowledge level that
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
we don't have, or I certainly don't have.
If it's a
But
room-
Jim, I like beer.
In an area for improvement,
Well, that's the whole
we
thing.
should absolutely entertain having that discussion.
I think we have to sit down, or at least let me get started and ask some questions, and then I can come back to the committee and see if we can set a game plan.
Gotcha. I will say, JJ and I got done playing golf, not very well. We played golf. And, Chris brought out some, was that the lager?
No, that was a pale ale.
Ale, and it was,
It was
she just
bad.
tapped a keg and it was bad.
Don't say it,
It was brewed in November.
don't say it.
I know, we
That'll bring tears to all the
did.
beer
throw it.
drinkers of the
It
world.
probably had to get thrown away, so we pretty much had to throw a whole keg away. 'cause
But
it was-
kind of,
It happens.
kind of to that point.
It does happen.
That's
It
a
does
shame.
happen. I'd say,
Beer is women's life, that's not a lie. So, maybe it's time to start looking at something different, so when we do reopen, we got, kind of a new plan, or at least understand our plan, where we're not, right now, we're just kind of brewing beer and.
Brewing
so-
beer, keeping the system open and running,
Right.
probably has got a lot to do with it.
Right.
So, yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's great.
I want it to be
I agree.
successful.
Anything to add on that, Rex, or?
No, leave in here, I agree. The more knowledge, the better.
I'll check with Scott, see when he's down the next time. Then
Okay.
get with you and see
I
what
will
we
make
set
it.
up.
Whenever he has open, okay.
Just a one comment on when you meet with Scott, you might want to ask him to bring his son.
Oh,
Because his son was he was saying was going to be doing it all.
Good point.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
it'd be nice to know what their long-term plans are. Are they just doing this for convenience to hide away, or are they commit, it's just something they want to, maybe it's something they don't even want to do, but we need to think different.
And I know there's a lot of
We don't know.
helpers around here
Mhm.
that, they have some knowledge too. And it's really, from homebrew to massive is really not that big of a difference. There's more cleaning involved and things like that. The process is always the same. Been that way for hundreds of years.
All right, emergency contact for security.
What are you wanting to know on that subject?
I think it was about the same as the tree cutting issue, but what are their, I think we kind of talked about it, when do they determine if they need to call you or Randall or escalate this?
Well, Randall makes the determination. Well, security makes the determination. If there's a line down or a tree down, they'll go out and check if they can, and I go through this on interviews, with new security guards, possible security guards. I tell them that, this is part of the job. Maintenance is only here during the day. Are you comfortable with going out and clearing at least one lane, to keep traffic moving or emergency services coming in? So they're the one that makes the determination. If indeed it's too big that they can't, or something to that effect, or if there's power lines or any kind of lines in the tree that they're not sure what they are, they have numbers to call. They've got South Central, they've got Spectrum, and they've got Frontier, and of course they've got maintenance. So they do have those numbers. Now, obviously, your point was it should have been escalated a little bit more there the other day. We really haven't run into that situation before.
But what if we have a bigger emergency situation? I mean, how quickly do they run this up to you or to, because Randall, I think, would be pretty confident he's going to pick up the phone, call you.
Yeah.
Or
Rick, or either one.
Yeah. But when does that go on up the chain where we need to kind of gather up some resources?
When they feel it's necessary, yeah.
Gotcha.
I think we need to be part of that call process.
Yeah, well-
At least call to the gym or, get our list. One of us should know, and then whoever gets that call should talk with the others.
I mean,
Because we may be that extra set of hands.
We had the lodge catch on fire, and unfortunately, Paul heard it. I was coming through. We got a hold of Jim. We got the process getting Rick in here. I mean, that was a prime example.
Yeah.
More hands on deck, the better,
Right.
where we could start making decisions right away.
right. And a lot of times when Paul Heimberger was still alive, they'd give him a call because he'd be right there. They knew he was the one that was experienced,
Mm-hmm.
and they wouldn't have to worry about watching what he was doing and protect him. See, that's kind of one of the
I think it
things
leaves
you
you
have to worry about.
Hey, let me put it this way. I fully understand that concern.
Yeah.
Whatever time I'm up here, I won't do anything.
I understand.
Don't call
I
Dan.
understand.
No, call me.
More for a decision standpoint.
Right.
I'll make the decision, no problem.
More for a decision standpoint to make sure that we, if there's something they're missing. But I just want to make sure that they know when, if they're uncomfortable at all with the situation, escalate it.
Yes.
And then,
Absolutely.
let's see what the situation is, and if it's a real emergency or if it's something that can wait.
We can make that determination on the phone.
Sure.
Easily.
Sure.
I mean, I can text every one of these guys and we can meet, or if they're not available, if people are here, we can meet real quick, meet with security and possibly Rick and say, okay, is this a big situation, or is this something we can, let go till Monday or whatever day.
Right,
The next day,
right,
or whatever day. So,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, I pretty much already got that, yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, wedding setup.
Make sure they understand, no one's trying to shortfall them or
No, they
second guess
Second guess
questions.
them, it's just,
Making decisions as a group is usually a much more productive situation, and one person isn't sitting there going, should I or shouldn't I? And then make a wrong decision, and sometimes they'd be hesitant for that, so don't make them feel that way, we're here to help.
We're here to support them, not second guess them.
Right.
I guess it's,
I mean, the amount of money they pay us, we have to do a little more physical labor. God knows, you know.
Okay.
Help chip and seal.
Got a lady that has a wedding scheduled for 6/20 this month, the 20th. They're wanting to come in and set up the great room on the 19th. They're wanting to know, they're also they have the great room scheduled, the chapel of pine scheduled, and the amphitheater scheduled. And they are wanting an answer on whether or not they can hold their event. Now, I know they've asked if they can bring their own food, which is yes. They've asked if they could bring their own alcohol, which is no.
they can out there.
Yeah, they can out there, yeah.
Can't come in here.
Understood.
No problem.
And or caterer. What caterer has been approved? Well, we haven't approved any caterers. We are expecting the members to bring the caterers to us, and then we'll go through the process of approving that caterer, but we've got the information we need to know.
Can I ask, where did they make their reservations from?
This was made, boy. Actually, there's no date on this, but I know they contacted me, quite some time ago.
Okay, good.
Actually, this was made in September of 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just was.
Yeah. And I've got two others that are asking the same question of whether they can hold their events or not.
I believe in the state guidelines, they can have a wedding of 300 people, they can't have a dance floor.
300? I don't have a number.
Oh, no, just saying.
But it's online.
State is
The
not-
Oh, yeah, I think.
Yeah, you can go read the.
Oh, it's 300, if you
Yeah.
have that social space thing, you know,
Why would that be theirs, right?
That's
our
our
responsibility, so
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, cool.
that should be spelled out someplace that they're gonna be
It's when
responsible.
they have it in one of our buildings. Right. We've got to have
Make sure
more
they follow the rules, absolutely, no question.
business.
I would, similar to what the Celebration of Life is doing, they're having somebody here to clean. I would prefer they have someone or employ someone to clean the bathrooms frequently.
Yeah.
So that they help, because this is in our facility.
Right.
That way they're following the cleaning guidelines.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what happened last week is they released a lot of the regulations, but we are still limited to no meetings of more than 9 people. 10 and above are still illegal. They did make one specific exception for people with weddings. They allowed people who had weddings up to 300 people with very significant rules about social spacing, as well as caterers had a lot of rules about what they could do, and similarly dance floors and things like that were. And it was 4 pages or better of that. So we sort of went through that. The social committee was actually wondering whether or not they would have the concerts would be associated with weddings, which, you know, we'll talk through that, and we're fine that would not have made sense. But there is also, I mean, in terms of going forward, we have to be aware of or vigilant that the health department is now beginning to enforce these things. And they're beginning to do site visits when people put these, proposals in, or somebody calls one in and says, this is what's happening. So to your point, if it's on our facility and we don't make sure that these people have signage, have information beforehand and everything else, and something goes wrong, whether they usually don't pound you the first time, but if there's a recurring pattern, they will. And that can all go all the way to liquor licenses and food licenses and everything else.
But
They close that.
a good example. 2 complaints and they pull our license.
Yeah, and so we have to be, cautious with that. So if people want to do it, if it's inside, they're going to have to follow the rules. If it's outside, the rules are probably easier and more easily administrated. But nevertheless, it's until anything else happens. But there's nothing come out this week. I follow it. I got a Ohio Department of Health news feed, so anything that comes out, we're looking at it. So it's
So Nobody's really got any issues as long as they follow the current state guidelines. And we prefer they have somebody clean the great rooms periodically, and we'll approve the caterer, and no alcohol in the building. They can bring alcohol out there. Can't sell alcohol. They can bring, well, unless they get a temporary license.
But even that, you can't get that for whiskey, it's usually just spirit.
But then, they can do line B, or, and
One thing is, every time I have been seeing something down there when we were running the club, the lodge, we did have problems with people bringing drinks into into this room.
Right.
Or walking up these steps into the main room. We should hold the members accountable that they're protecting our liquor license by supervising that, because that is an issue that we've seen almost globally. Especially after a few drinks are had, they're carrying them in, and it's pretty obvious. So that's why I personally think we should have security guard present monitoring. But from an expense standpoint, I can see that go, but the member needs to know they're responsible.
yeah, I would just remind them if security drives by and see people bringing alcohol in, we can't shut the great room down.
Yep, no problem.
That's not an option.
Yep, gotcha.
I agree.
All right, beach sand donation.
They stopped by, today and asked me about if we had plans on purchasing sand for the beach this year. I said no. She said, well, what if I get together a group and donate? And she's got somebody that works for a concrete company that will haul for free. And I said, well, I'd bring it to you folks. The last time we bought sand was actually, I think, last year. We purchased, was last year.
Yeah.
41, a little over 41 tons. It cost us $1,776. So you can probably figure that cost will probably be cut in half if they've got their own hauler, as long as they bring the correct sand. Now, the sand that we've gotten in the past has come from Beaver, Ohio. It's a special clean, light-colored sand for the beach. Now, I don't know. I think we've tried using mason sand. It was really kind of dirty. And so I think that's something that we should require for them to get the specifications.
Yeah, we need to set the specs on that, because on Facebook I saw a post, somebody put silicate sand. You definitely don't want to dump silicate sand down there with the health issues with silicate in the sand.
Right.
So yeah, we want to specify what they have to have.
It's a
so we
white
can create a
beach
problem.
sand, isn't it?
No, it really isn't the party sand. The beach, what we used was a good sand.
Right. It's
It's
special.
more attuned with what is in a lake typically.
Yeah.
It's a higher, more aggregate to it, and it's not, so it doesn't cake and travel with you. And party sand is not something, or what they used to call beach sand, or you don't want that white stuff because we shouldn't even allow it in our lake.
Well, they shut that plant down. It used to be in Glenford, which was really easy to get.
But we have members that dump sand on that goes into the lake.
Oh, wow.
What is in there?
I used to be one,
Okay.
and it's not good sand because it tracks with the kids and all of that. I really think the beach sand that you guys spec is really good.
We'll just spec, because you may have a problem with allowing it free.
No.
Fair price.
Are they gonna be spreading it also? I mean,
They'll probably just dump it, we'll have to go out and spread it with our,
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I think we should
Yeah, we'll see.
go for the whole banana.
Give Dan a shovel.
Yeah.
You
Supervisor.
Weinberger, Paul. Dan, you always told him to get the shovel, what you could handle it.
Okay, good.
Dan needs a clear cutout in his mask. I need to know if he's scouring at us or smiling at us. Can you do something different with your eyebrows?
I could give you something else.
Boom.
okay, so it's approved and
Well, my
provide
back.
specs.
Okay, yeah.
You're in a good position.
This next thing, Jim Lloyd called me today, wanted to know when we were gonna open the playground. And I think,
June 10th.
I think that's, yeah. Are we going to specify anything as far as cleaning? Carrie Amy asked me also, and she said they would be willing to go in there once a day or whatever.
I don't think it would hurt. I think it'd be great if somebody would be willing to clean it. I don't know that we have the ability to clean it.
Well, we do, but I don't think we have the time.
We don't have the time to go around and clean these. I mean, we can put the basketball rooms up June 10th and open the playgrounds. It'd be great if the,
I think having, like I said,
maybe go in and
actual
clean it.
sanitizer available for parents.
Yeah.
I mean, if they would forget, I mean, if it happened to be my kid or grandkid, I would take my sanitizer with me.
Right.
Before the kid got out of the stuff and just do it.
Is there a possibility, do we have any that we could mount out there
The
as
box or
sanitizers?
something, on a post or something, I mean, that's what I was sort of suggesting.
Oh, we got the stuff that Steve bought is really nice, because all you have to do is spray it on.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna use that at the pool.
Yeah, that's what we used at the pool.
I was just talking about some basic hand sanitizers so people can use that going in
The
there.
problem is they're gonna take
Hard to get a hold
I
of.
was gonna say, it's gonna come up short
Yeah.
every day, I would guess. 'Cause
Yeah.
Well, I think we should remind.
Is it a
people,
requirement from the rules? I read them, I can't recall.
I don't think it was,
It is-
it just said we can reopen playgrounds, didn't see in the specs where it said you
Okay.
had to.
So, you know, social spacing and cleaning are recommended.
Yeah.
There's no requirement of us to open.
I would ask them to, if they're volunteering to do the cleaning, I would think that would be,
Yeah.
that'd be great. If they do it on a daily basis,
Yeah.
that would show a good intent.
Yeah.
How much was the stuff you donated?
How much was it? It was free.
No,
I didn't burn a bill in for it.
I know that, I was
You
We
just.
got a bill for it.
My contribution to the health and safety of our
We
children.
got a bill for it.
She said, Randy said we got a bill.
Who sent it to you?
We did. We got a bill for it. We paid it
To who?
to whoever was the company that built us.
Nobody billed you.
Yeah.
Sorry, not my product. It was bought and paid for by me. I got the receipt for it. We did not, they had no idea.
Who's
where
the
to
company?
send it
You know that right off the top of your head?
to. Nutrient.
A new trend?
Yeah. They wouldn't have an address. They wouldn't know where to send a bill.
I'll have to check on
Well,
that.
thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Jim
Thank you.
suggested it, and I thought, yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
was, I mean, I did the same thing, I would be happy.
I was joking that you can turn the bill in.
Well, it's gonna create a lot of finished solution, 2 ounces to a gallon of water. That 5 gallon
Yeah.
is gonna make 800 some gallons of finished solution, so we can do a lot
My
of.
point would be, do we want to give some to the,
Yeah, if you paid somebody for it, let me know. Here, you wanna call and get your money.
I will.
do we want to give,
How
provide
much
some
is
to
it?
the,
50 gallons?
in spray bottles to
How much?
the, activities for youth? They would want to go spray the playground.
How long did you spray that?
I mean, it's gonna be kind of tough to do that with
Everything.
spray bottles. We purchased
For that?
1 gallon, 2 gallon.
Sprayer.
Sprayer.
You can buy this for $5.
Yeah, well, I'll have to do that.
But I didn't know if we want to provide any, at the actual.
800
Yeah,
gallons.
we can-
I think so.
Yeah, they do that.
I just don't know.
A couple years.
Oh, really? Oh.
In the mix.
Yeah, because it really shouldn't take that much to miss the.
You know, we only closed it because we were required to, it wasn't we wanted to be mean to kids.
Right, right.
You know?
That's not what I heard.
Yeah. Does anybody have a problem with us providing some solution to the, like, the activities for youth, that way they can, if they get a sprayer, they can spray it, they can spray this stuff
I
out.
mean, if we have what he gave us, and it really will cover us for a period of time, and occasional dusting with that makes some real good sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And if you run out of Steve's, I'll be happy to donate the next one. I think it, you know.
It does go a long ways. It
Yeah.
is fairly inexpensive. For those listening with health concerns, this product is a sanitizing product for restaurants and meat processing, so it is a highly safe product.
Isn't it what they're using at most grocery stores to do
It's
their
probably, I
broadcast
can't speak to what they
spraying?
do, but they use this in packing plants and everything.
And
It's
I think-
basically a combination of hydrogen peroxide. So if you're not picking up that jug, you're drinking out of that jug, you're okay.
Yeah.
And the young people that are working the garden and spraying everything down in the morning, playing pickleball over there, and they're going around every surface that's drying. I'm watching them, they're doing a good job. Anna has them more trained.
Oh, she's doing a great job.
She is.
Okay. June 14th, commemorative cycle ride at the shelter house. So, member Jeff Lee had talked to me, a good friend of his that he rode down at Hideaway, on Hideaway was killed in a cycling accident. A motorist struck him and killed him. He was pretty big into Pelotonian. So Jeff wanted to have a ride leaving out of Hideaway, possibly up to 50 or so riders leaving out of Hideaway, just to go out and do this ride that they'd always done. The more he thought about it, he decided he would rent the shelter house. He does have White Castle coming in and sponsoring the food, paying for the food for the riders.
I guess you want to be the leader in the pack in that deal then, right?
A little bit more, I volunteered to drive ahead of the group's protection, but he made a call. He's got sheriff's deputies going to escort them for a really minimal fee. I just want to make sure if there's anybody, he's encouraging people to carpool for parking issues. He thought they'd be out of here by noon on Sunday, so it really won't interfere with the dam area parking. He is going to try to get a list of people to you by Friday so that we as the guards have some idea who's coming for this. But I thought as a committee we got to approve this.
Where would we have them park if?
Around the shelter.
Right there by the shelter house, probably in the parking lot close to the shelter house, the boat ramp, trailer parking
I
area.
just think we want to make sure we define it so we don't end up people in grass and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, in the front area you can park. He's trying to get people to carpool as best they can to cut down the parking. We just need security to kind of point them where to park. He thought everybody would be out here by noon. So, you good, Dan?
All right.
No issue, John, good? All right, call that approved, I'll let Jeff know.
Very good.
Yeah, what a sad story. The guy has 2 children, 17 and 12 or 13 or something like that.
On a ride near Canal Winchester, they left out a brew dog and it's kind of a shame.
It's being investigated.
Thursday morning, Lee wants golf carts. Randy?
Yeah, Sue Basher called, wanted to know how they can get golf carts. They heard that Monday night people were allowed to have carts when we were open, so they want to know how they can get golf carts. We could do the same thing we did for the Monday night bait. We had Eric collect the money. We could probably do the same with one of them. I don't know who all's in that leg of Sue Basher that called me. What do you think?
My wife's part of that. There's about 11 women.
Yeah.
And there was an older woman that wanted a golf cart.
Yeah.
I mean, if you need somebody to run up, open it up. I'm okay
We
with
got a
that.
volunteer.
There you go. Okay, I'll let her know. Appreciate that. If everybody else is okay with that.
Yeah, I just wanted to be a board or management member to
Yeah.
kind of
I'll
take
go
the
with the cart, okay? The money
Are we renting this?
No, they'll just give you the money, then you just turn it into us. Or
Okay.
or
So you will have
however
a-
you wanna do it.
Chris can leave a clipboard down there with the
Yeah.
rental agreement, so
Okay.
you just gotta fill that out, pay you.
Make
And
sure,
then,
make sure you're wearing your body cam while you're taking that.
Yeah.
and, Eric had did this for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
till we got somebody to run and then just turn the money into Chris the next day.
Right.
Okay.
Forms.
What are they doing cart down there? I can tell.
I'll have to check.
And
I'll
then
let
10 or-
Chris will have that information.
I'll talk to Chris.
You'll have to get security to come up and.
Right, let's open it up.
You'll let security know that you're gonna do that, but they'll, security come up and open up.
Okay.
You think it's gonna be recurring?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. They had also asked too if they could, if somebody was could open up the bar too, but,
We still have.
if there's only 11 people, that's not really gonna be supportive or something like that.
Yeah, especially in the morning, I can't imagine there's a lot of heavy day drinking.
I don't know, there's women.
I'm not going there. You're better off not to.
The mixed couples
My
league,
voice was mumbled.
the mixed couples league, is over 30 members in that league. I haven't seen the numbers for Monday night to see how we did yet. I'm gonna meet with Chris tomorrow at 12:30 if you wanna stop up. I didn't know if you were.
Interview, but we'll see.
That's right, it is not big, we're just gonna talk about hours, but I'd like to see them, I'm gonna ask her for the Monday sales to see how we did compared to having one person there. But it's just, it's hard to have enough sales to justify bringing someone in at this point when we're short-staffed anyway.
You say 12 or 12:30?
12:30.
Sorry.
He's buying lunch, so I'll make sure.
Well, we don't open till 1 or what.
Lunch will be done at the end of the meeting.
Eat early, eat after the meeting. Have a quick meeting that way.
Just tell Chris I'll come in right after this.
Okay. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Possible say?
Yeah, you can stop in at 1 or you can stop at 12:30 if you want to meet with her. You can meet with me at 12:30.
You want to?
That way we
I
just
think
talk
so,
about.
I'd just come by and meet her because I know who she is, but I don't know that.
Yeah, you can stop right in.
Yeah.
We just meet
She
kind of.
needs to know we're all, behind this whole process and supporting this thing.
Yeah.
She's handcuffed to the place and trying to make the best of it. It's not always gonna work out a little bit, but we're here for one. Very good.
Okay, anybody else got anything you wanna?
Yeah, I have something.
Bring up.
A couple people approached me about the $30 for the Save the Security. Are we still doing that?
Yes,
You
absolutely.
Still want people to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll do that. And the other question was, where are we with the deck?
The deck is, we have the remediation plan in place. I've shared it with Matt Woodrum. He's looking through to see, he's gonna give us a bit of what it's gonna cost to bring it up to speed.
Okay.
And in the meantime, then we're going after, we got the equipment list, and we're gonna be going to get at least 2, if not 3 bids for all the materials that we're gonna use.
Good.
So that's where it is. So Matt and Mark Truman are involved in it. I talked to Matt probably 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks, and so he's got a full set of the plans, and we're gonna be moving forward.
Okay. Now, just people approaching, what's going on?
Yeah, it's all about the remediation now. Randy and Rick are gonna cut off the rebar that's out there. I saw Rick today, and he said you talked to him, so we'll get that cleaned up. And then after that, Matt now has all the plan that the designer and the engineer agreed to be able to meet the state specs for a commercial deck. So hopefully it'll be there.
Any recourse going after this other cat that?
Let's talk offline. Because I don't know what to do.
I mean, when do you think the timeline they could actually come out and start working on it? I mean,
It depends upon Matt. It is on Matt. I have not pressed him on that. He knows that we want to do it. He knows as a member and as a person who lives here, he would like to see it get done. And I think he's willing to prioritize it. I don't think I'm speaking out of school on that. He wants to do it, so.
okay.
Hopefully soon. I've just got him the final prints here in the last couple of days, and so, but they're pretty straightforward, so we have to go through that, and then the rest of it is just building the deck. I mean, it's not laser science. It is building a deck.
And for reference, for new people not listening, this is a outside funded project outside of Highway Hills.
It is.
Well, it's not part of the amenities process.
Just that point, it's not part of that whole,
Members donated to it.
as we talked about money.
There was a small amount of amenities funding as well.
Right.
Primarily donor funded, and the design was donated completely.
Just good reference point. Yeah, again.
No, it is a good brand.
That's good, absolutely.
Okay. Dan, you got anything?
Nope.
Steve?
Good question. Have we ever considered, and I know this is gonna sound dumb, and I know that we have chip and seal roads, putting some kind of lines on some of these curves So it's some indication to some of these last three people that about hit my wife and I head on, coming up around, coming home,
Could drive on the
place.
right side of the road.
You know, and
Slow
it's
down
like,
at center.
just something, good Lord, I don't know, some of those flexible bumpers or something, just so somebody, help them understand that it's narrow, slow down, it's a corner, and you shouldn't be cutting that corner close, because somebody could be coming the other way, and it's
Because
like,
it's a 2-lane road.
I mean, this last guy here on Sunday, man, it was so close, she was ready to jump out the door, she thought this guy had us, and it's just some indication to help people to understand on some of these curves, and that's probably the worst stretch coming up there a lot of times.
So you're talking about lining.
I don't know if there's something we can do or not, but just kind of help people understand where that center of the road is, and if they can see that and say, gosh, that's pretty narrow, that should be an indication, let's slow down. We've done a great job of giving wider points. Problem is on the weekends, the spots fill up along the road with, people visiting and things too. But before we have some kids on a golf cart and somebody hits them head on, I think it's something, if it's a possibility to mark it in some way, maybe, I don't know, I'm just asking if it's potential.
Rex, is that something you could look around and make a recommendation of whether we can stripe the middle of the road just to try to give a reference point? Even if it's just dashed lines to say.
Something.
Well,
Yeah, I need to look at, I wanna look something up. It may not be, and again, we can kind of do what we want, but it may not be legal if the road isn't wide enough, even, you know what I mean?
you mean even put lines on
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Can we put stars? Star cut out, like got stars around them.
Little arrows pointing right would be really good, that I got. No, let me, the expense would be nothing, and that there, it could be done. Let me check on something first.
Well, Jim McNabb did those lines at the clubhouse.
Yeah.
We had his, relative of his.
Yeah, Brian,
Do the lines up on the dam.
which we need to redo. They're,
Yeah.
it's been 2 years since we've done it, they're looking pretty rough, but.
But just a thought, just a personal,
Yeah.
and I know I'm not the only one that's come around a corner. And that's
It happens, people cut the corners, they think nobody's
A
coming.
couple kids or 3 kids on a golf cart without seat belts, and it's not gonna be a pretty thing, and then that's gonna draw in a lot of attention and lawsuits and.
Well, Rex, I've got a contact if you wanna check on the legality of it.
Yeah, I will do so.
Appreciate it.
I would need a recommendation on what areas need some type of line.
I could make some.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
on the because we as driving in highway don't drive on the right or, we don't go towards we drive in the middle of the road. Generally. I'm trying to change my process.
So lines really aren't gonna do any good.
No.
It won't make you think about it. That's Jim's point.
I mean, I have taken my hand out and asked people to move away, because they just don't pay any attention and they don't slow down.
Yeah.
There's times I thought I was gonna lose paint.
When you have a big truck, they tend to get over quicker. Just saying.
They're a little better with the current car than they were my previous.
You're a little go-karted.
Alright, thanks.
Rex, do you have anything additional you want to bring up?
I do not.
Okay, and we got a short executive session, and we're going to cut out.
Alright, thanks.
I got 6 minutes.